What's up, guys? We are going to talk about finding your perfect ideal customer, and we're going to do it very, very quickly because I only have 14 minutes left on my tape. So here's the deal. The idea is when you come out of this, you're going to learn a couple things. Number one, you're going to be completely shocked about something I tell you, which actually is kind of why my hair's all messed up. I may not look quite normal. Number two, you're going to learn how to attract the perfect person for your business, not for my business or anybody else's, but for you. Because if you attract the wrong type of person in your business, your life will be one of misery. How do I know? Because I used to target like the world. Like, oh, anybody who wants to make money online, anybody who wants to run a business. And what happened is literally for 3 years, I became afraid to pick up my phone. Because every time I picked it up was some tire kicker who was not the right match. It was not at all my ideal customer. Now that doesn't mean I had some ideal customers join over that time, but the majority of people joining were not my ideal customer. That's because I wasn't focusing on that person. So the idea is you want to narrow down what's called your niche or your niche, depending on where you're at in the world. I call it a niche. And what it is, a person of a very specific demographic, sex, age, occupation. Demographics kind of covers all this, but I'm getting more specific. What are their hobbies? What do they like to do? What are their dreams? What have they already done? Because if your ideal target market is a retired female baby boomer who their retirement plan just kicked in, they're entirely different from a young guy like 21, 22, just graduated college and is adventurous, wants to go take on the whole world. Those are two completely different people. And part of this is you have to put some thought in who do you really want in your business. If you attract everybody, that can be good, but you know your own personality. I don't know you. See, I've developed my personality where I literally love working with people from all over the place, and I really love serving them. What I don't stand for is pessimists, complainers, people who have not read Rich Dad, Poor Dad or Think and Grow Rich. And if they haven't, maybe they've only read one or the other, I tell them one of the first things they do, go read the other one. I'm not gonna talk to you till you read that book or the audio or whatever. The point is, and here's what happened to me, guys. When I first started out, the very first leader that ever joined my business, we were talking, I'm walking through a Costco with my wife, and I could not believe how many things we had in common. It was ridiculous. We were within 1 year of age of each other. We had professional sports experience. I was only semi-pro, but he had been a professional boxer. He had read Think and Grow Rich, and as we taught, and Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and as we talk about things like network marketing, residual income, and entrepreneurship, they were like, they got fired up about that, even though they're not a super outgoing personality like myself. So we're not talking about an exact person, but that's who you want to think about when you're marketing. And that was actually all by accident. When he joined, I'm like, how do I get more of him? Because he's amazing. And what mistake I made was not focusing on that. So here's some things to get you going. And you want to think about specific demographics, not that they have a good job. What is their job? Is it white collar, blue collar worker? What specifically is it? Are they some type of an engineer? Are they in the medical field? And I want you to get very specific to where a person you know you can talk to. Now, if you've made 30 grand your whole life and you have a certain specialty that's not medical, your perfect customer is probably not a good choice to go after doctors who make an average of like 150 a year and up. That's because how are you going to relate to them? The only way is if you go educate yourself and learn all this medical stuff and learn what it's like to make 150,000 per year versus 30. Or if your household income was 60, that household is different from a household that makes 150 or 200K per year. So you may still attract that doctor in, but don't just focus on that, because a lot of doctors will look at you and say, why would I listen to you when you make 1/3 of my income? And unfortunately that's a judgment, and the really coolest doctors in the world don't do that. How do I know? Because I have the best doctor in the entire planet with the most positive attitude in the world on my team. But that is in my target market. Not necessarily that he's a doctor or that I have engineers, actually engineers, computer type technical. That is one of my focus niches. Now, what I forgot to say early on was another thing you can do when you focus on a niche, you can go in the future and focus on different niches when you get good at this. So I don't want to overwhelm you, so don't freak out about that. Focus on your perfect ideal customer. Literally, you should have an entire page. I mean an entire written page, either handwriting or on Word, and not some 20 or 50 point font. Talk about normal size font. You should know everything, where if I read your page, I would have a great insight into this person's life. You can even name yours. I'll tell you how I named mine. Was one of my mentors, Frank Kern, first taught me this concept, and then I learned more through Ann Sieg and then more through a whole bunch of people, really took it in depth. And Frank Kern always talks about his guy was Bob. And Bob is this engineer that makes about $60,000 per year. He has 2 kids, he's married. Notice he didn't say chemical engineer or software engineer, he said engineer. That's a specific niche. And he goes in it, he wears khaki pants, button-up shirts, and what was crazy, he talked about, he went to this event Frank was giving, and by the way, Frank called his guy Bob. So literally at the event, this guy walks up and he's all, by the way, I'm Bob, but I go by Bobby. No kidding, it was like the guy said, that was unbelievable, like that is me to a T. Within $1,000 of my annual income, everything was dead on with this guy. Now, what you can do with that is everything you write, every time you do a video, that is the person you are doing the video to. That's where you can do things like, how are you doing? Not, and I make this mistake a lot, how are you guys doing? That's a bunch of people. I'm talking to one person. I'm talking to my ideal client. How are you doing today? All right, today I'm gonna teach you how to, so you get that, the language, it's all focused, and I'm gonna talk about things that they're dreaming of. If your target market is a homeless family on the street, you better have an enormously amount of budget to get them off their feet and work with them and educate them, usually for weeks, months, or probably years before they can ever get up to a better level. And there's exceptions, of course, guys. I'm not ripping on homeless people. I actually go and help homeless people every Christmas. It's one of the most amazing experiences my family does. The point is, you have to find your target niche. And if you can't, you want to get very, very, very specific. I'm talking about their name, how old they are, what kind of, do they live in the suburbs, out in a farm? Do they have high-speed internet or slow speed? How much money do they make? What books have they read? What hobbies do they have? What is their job? What is their dream job? Are they in their job and they hate it? Or it's a good job, like they kind of like the job, they kind of like their boss. Maybe that person's not too motivated to GTFO and go out and change the world, starting with their own family. If they're too comfortable, you have to have a certain level of uncomfortability before you're gonna go take massive action. So that'll get you guys started. I am gonna put all of this in just some amazing content. I guarantee if you go watch this and focus on the words and the blog post behind this, you're gonna have the ability to go out and do this exact exercise and start really targeting your people. And you might have a poverty mindset of like, oh, well, I'm gonna miss out on the other 99% of the world. You're gonna miss out on 99.999% if you don't focus on one niche, and a niche that you can work with. Not just some entrepreneur that wants a business from home. Guy or girl, what do they do? All that. You want to get into their feelings. How do they feel? What drives them in their inner core, in their heart? What is their heart about? Are they some mean person you're gonna help make 100 grand per month and they're gonna go out and do evil in the world? That sucks. That person, I cut those ties off. Actually, I can't think of too many I've attracted, but especially early in my career, I did attract a couple. They were, I spent enough time on the phone to learn, forget this, you're cut off. Like, and just stop. I couldn't work with people like that. Because I know my mission statement, I know myself, I know what I want to do. So I told you guys you learned something amazing. I want you to get over your excuses, because I am shooting this video with 103 Fahrenheit fever, which Celsius, I looked it up, it's 39.6 or something like that. So right about 40 degrees Celsius and around 103. Now, if I just had all this hair, you may notice my hair's all messed up because I've been laying down and laying around and resting a lot. I was actually in the mirror last night and my color looked really good, like I had a tan. And I just asked my wife, I'll kind of zoom in, she's all, you have these huge bags under your eyes and you don't look very good. And even last night, I think you were delusional because you didn't look that good. So, the point is, guys, I am here to provide value to people and I'm not gonna let some excuse, oh, I'm sick, I don't feel good. Guys, I'm taking care of myself. I'm drinking ridiculous amounts of water, eating healthy food, and taking care of myself. And I'm controlling my fever. But if I can shoot a video like I just did with 103-degree fever, what's your excuse? You know, the very first sponsor I ever had, she had MS. She had to eat a very special diet. She traveled to Colorado to an event. She couldn't even eat what they were serving for free. She had to go to special Whole Foods and very special organic stuff. She didn't have some excuse. She was out getting busy and making things happen, even though medically she has this huge excuse to go make excuses like, oh, it's just not for me, I can't do it. So what's your excuse? Go figure that out. This is the exact kind of energy when I was first starting in 2007, when I first had this big burst, you know, like a sprint up to a new income level, approaching 1,000 a month or so after this 90 days. I worked 90 days straight, sleeping 4 hours per night. And I'm the kind of guy that had always slept like 6 to 8 hours per night before that. But I was serious enough that I even liked my boss and I liked parts of my job. I didn't like them telling me I had to go in at certain times and I had to make a certain number of cold calls. Screw that, I'm gonna do what I wanna do. Or I want to do what I wanna do. So that is my leverage to staying up extra hours, staying up a few hours later at night, getting up a few hours early and cranking my home business, learning the skills and taking massive action on those skills. That's what you gotta figure out. Don't let some fever, sickness, now guys, I'm not saying don't go rest yourself. You gotta take care of yourself. Look at your excuses, what's holding you back? If you're too comfortable in your job, number one, I guarantee it's not gonna last forever. I don't care if you work for the government, I don't care. I have dozens of people that have that same belief on my team, and they got screwed and lost their job. And now, some of them have built an income, some of them hadn't because they weren't really motivated. Now they're completely in trouble financially, some of them filing bankruptcy and things. So, you choose your life. You choose how you feel. Before I said that, could you guess I had 103-degree fever, 93.6 degrees Celsius fever? Could you have ever guessed that? No, because I'm not being a wussy and I'm standing up. I want to provide massive value to you because that's my mission statement. Before my camera runs out, to your ultimate success, God bless. And if you're asking yourself, guys, I have nothing to sell. If you want to buy something from me, you want to work with me, go find a link somewhere on this video, on this page, whatever. This isn't about me selling something to you. This is about me providing massive value to you. Why? Because my mission statement, the purpose of my life is to love, to enjoy the journey, and to inspire, teach, and serve others. That, I'm fired up. I feel freaking great right now. I don't feel like I'm sick at all right now because I am living my mission statement. So God bless, to your ultimate success. We'll see you guys. I hope you got massive value out of this. This is a tiny, tiny little piece of the value you're gonna get in the coming months. So take care, have a very happy New Year's. Hope you had Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Take care, guys.